EcoRenovate. Is this a term you've heard yet? Well, it was actually one coined by a business friend, one of my business besties, on a project that she got to do in Chicago, Illinois, in this really, really cool historical building. So this is what we all have an opportunity to do, is up-level our existing homes, the homes that we're flipping, the homes that we're selling, buying, or just living in. There's a lot that can be done to improve our health, to improve the health of the world, and make these places where we live so much better. Hey, y'all, I'm Marla, the Green Home Coach, and I'm so thrilled. I'm always thrilled, but I'm extra thrilled today to have Sheridan Foster in to talk about this really, really cool project that she and her team did, EcoRenovate in Chicago, Illinois.
This is the first time that we took on a renovation, from start to finish. And it was a lot of learning and a lot of really, really interesting insights. And it also allowed us to take it sort of one step further and look beyond just the materials that we were using in the build, but also what furnishings we were bringing in. So it got to expand our focus a little bit beyond that as well. So big, beautiful windows with a delicate arch at the top. It's just a fabulous looking, super striking building. And so I thought, what is that? What is that? And so I looked it up. I tried to figure out what it was, and I discovered that it was actually designed by Pei and Araldo Cossutta. And they did that it was built in 1961. So it is a historic building. It's on the National Register of Historic Places.
Nice.
And it was built as apartments. It's now condominiums. And the really, really interesting thing is you see a lot of very forward-looking things that they did in that time period that have continued on. But here's this gorgeous modernist building, and that fits in really well with, Chicago has just fabulous architecture throughout the whole thing. And the University of Chicago campus, they've brought in every style from the original Gothic, University Gothic style to brutalist to modernist to, they have everything going on there. And so this is super duper interesting to see this historic thing right in that same kind of an area. We saw an opportunity to renovate one of the condominiums that was in that building, and it was a lovely unit on the top floor.
Here we are with this building in 1961 that's very different from a lot of the neighborhood, right? Because you said it was mainly brownstones. So definitely an icon in that neighborhood, I could think. So you come into this building, this condo, and how did you start this? What did you inventory? Everything was there, or how did you figure out what to do?
So the first thing in taking a look at it was we wanted to stay very true to the roots of the design. So we wanted to keep existing architectural elements. We wanted to stay true to it, but we also wanted to update it more for how people live today. Was a kitchen that was all enclosed. It was just basically, like a 9x9 box, totally closed off from all natural light. The very first thing that we wanted to do was make that kitchen area, tie it in more with the rest of the house, not have it be like a oversized closet that you worked in. So we took down, we made plans to take down part of two of the walls to connect it into that main area. So it connects it into the entryway, it connects it into the living room, dining room area. It gives it access to that beautiful wall of windows. So it is now nice, bright, and it's a pleasant place to work, as opposed to a claustrophobic place to work. And it also fits, modern entertaining much better, where everyone wants to be in the kitchen anyways.
One of the things that struck me so much, Sheridan, is how much you did with color. And the psychology of color is something that a lot of people are talking about right now, and how much it affects our moods and our energy levels. Was that intentional, or did it just work out that way?
So in planning for this, certainly we wanted to add some wow factor. I mean, you have that wall of windows. That's certainly a big wow. So something that you could bring in that was going to be a pop, something that was going to make you say, wow, this is really interesting. Let me look at that. And so, yeah, that was very deliberate.
And we hear so much talk right now about how all these different design factors are really impacting our health and wellness. And I think we're thinking bigger than we did even a few years ago about how we approach these projects, and how we can make our spaces not just pretty and not just functional, but like our refuge, and just a place that we really feel good coming home to. And that was really the fact that you had this kind of process of circularity that you were thinking of as you evaluated all the materials and the finishes and everything else that you were bringing in to EcoRenovate. It's a great way to think, because you want to focus on so many different elements that we don't necessarily. With so many times we walk into a store or look at something online and we just look at how it looks, and we don't look at anything else. We don't look at the performance. We don't look at how it was manufactured, where it was manufactured, did they reuse materials, etc. So this process that you came up with, Sheridan, was really thoughtful in that. And I hope we can get more people to think that way.
So it's healthier for your family to think about what are the adhesives that you're using to put down your carpet. What is in your carpet? What happens to your carpet at end of life?
I think there's a growing trend. I'm starting to connect the idea of our personal health is also connected to the bigger world's health and our community's health. Because if we buy a better product, that means the people that are making it aren't exposed to the bad stuff. The people that are interacting with it, installing it, are not exposed to that. So it's not just impacting our health, it's impacting all the people that touch that product. And I think that way of thinking is newer, but I think there's more people starting to get that. And I think that's, that's what's going to be necessary for all of us to make a difference. And so the other thing I wanted to talk with you about is you did repaint. I want you to talk a little bit more about the paint you used.
Yes, so we used a paint from a company called Recolor, and Recolor Paint is a company that is women-led. They are looking to solve the problem of waste paint. So Recolor Paint has done a very interesting thing. They take that leftover paint and they filter it and reprocess it, and they turn it into paint that can be used again. This paint, because it has gone through, sort of its creation, its mixing, its life, and now this reprocessing, it is lower in VOCs than you would hit with a regular paint, because it's already gone through the off-gassing, through all of those other steps. So it's sort of naturally lower in VOCs.
So what was your favorite part of EcoRenovate?
I must say the kitchen overall is my favorite, with this fun tile. And then we brought in plywood bamboo fronted cabinets. And to separate things just a little bit, we tore out this wall, made this big open space, but we didn't want it we did want to delineate the difference between the living room and the kitchen. So we put a big island in the middle there. And we took the cabinets all the way up to the ceiling. There's now, with that island, there's now a breakfast bar, but there's also great workspace and great storage space.
So I'm imagining, since this was a historical place, you couldn't do a lot with the more structural elements, since it's a historical building, but you brought in some elements to help improve the indoor air quality.
Yes, so we took certainly the vents that were coming in or out of the apartment. We put filters over the front of those. And then we also in each room put a molecule, this of varying sizes depending on the size of the room. We put in these really great air filters that I first actually discovered during the California wildfires, and started using for indoor air quality in an emergency situation.
Right.
But this was putting it into a day-to-day situation. So
Wow.
it'll tell you if it's seen VOCs. It'll tell you if it's seen 2.5 PM particles. And the molecule is not just a filter. It actually is an active. They call it a PECO filter. It is using electricity to actively destroy the particles as they come in.
Well, I am so excited to share this project with our listeners and to give people so many great ideas about how an eco renovation can happen for themselves or for their clients. And in our parting, what would be your one last word of advice to anybody, or your one last thought?
So it can definitely seem overwhelming when you're taking on a renovation. My biggest advice would be, there's a lot of information out there, and take a look and understand what your goals are for your renovation. So you're not going to be able to find the perfect product, but what is the goal of what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
So how can we work with companies that are themselves mindful of reducing waste, of reducing energy, using renewable energy, all of those kinds of things. But look at the goals for your project. And I hope that everyone keeps the goal of a healthier home
Yeah.
as part of one of the underlying principles that you don't want to compromise on.
Day-to-day habits or big eco renovates, there's something in it for everyone. And Sheridan, thank you so much for sharing this project with us. I am so excited to share the photos with our listeners too, because a picture is worth 1,000 words sometimes. And for all of y'all out there, please check out Sheridan's website as well. They do a great job with tons of resources and material on all kinds of green products and more healthy products. And it's just elemental.green. Well, we'll put lots of links in the show notes for you too. So that'll get you started and get you over to the website to learn more. And once again, have a great green day. And thank you, Sheridan.